Hello, my name is Mohammed Balal. I'm the Technical Solutions Architect here at Ingram Micro. I've been working with a number of my partners around Cisco Intersight, and they've thrown me a number of questions around Intersight. So I've helped them gain some knowledge and shared some answers with them. So I thought I'd create a podcast, if you like, around some of the questions they've asked and some information around Intersight. Intersight is a cloud-based management tool which offers the management as a service to support the UCS servers and Hyperflex infrastructure. So the idea is to simplify management. So for those IT departments, whether you're a one-man band to a team of 10 strong IT engineers, the idea is to simplify the management of those environments. So that's the life cycle of your hardware infrastructure. So that's from the configuration of your servers, the deployment, the maintenance and support. So Intersight allows the ability to manage the whole life cycle of your server infrastructure. So the idea goal is to reduce that complexity, simplify the ability to scale and stand up the infrastructure, and also at incredible speed than doing things manually, and also it offers that support and the advice monitoring capabilities. I'll give a couple of examples around how Intersight can help those IT administrators, IT managers and their departments. So I've been an ex-IT administrator, IT manager, and I guess this will resonate with everyone, and that's about keeping infrastructure up to date with patches and firmware. So I know IT administrators love doing patching. There's always a risk associated with this as well. So I've had a few issues in the past as an IT administrator, but one of the challenges I've had is trying to find if there is any firmware available for servers, or is there any firmware available. So sometimes you don't get notified by the vendors to say, look, there's a new firmware available. It's sometimes you have to go find that information yourself, and sometimes you might find that you're about 3 or 4 versions out, over the course of the year, etc. So the good news is with the Intersight, you can check firmware against UCS servers and what firmware is available out there. So Intersight will notify you through the dashboard to say, hey, your UCS servers is either on the relevant up-to-date firmware or there's a new firmware available. So you can deploy that firmware on a one-by-one case scenario, or you can group UCS servers together as long as they're the same UCS 220s or 240s, the same M5s or M6, etc. You can push out and roll out that update. So if you think about how many man hours and headaches that's gonna reduce for that IT department, all that legwork and trying to find out, is there a firmware available? Can I use a simple tool to deploy it and push out that firmware? It's going to save a considerable amount of time. The ability to access the IMC remotely without the need to VPN into a corporate office or being on site is one of my favorite features. So again, as I mentioned, me being a system administrator in the past, in the heyday, I would have loved this feature, absolutely. So if you're on call, you're in the middle of playing a football game, or you're at a train station or airport lounge, and someone's ringing you to say, look, there's a server that's frozen, it's gone down. Can you have a look? I mean, the first port in the call will be Intersight, and then to investigate, and then obviously you use the IMC to log onto that server, and if it is hung or needs a restart, you can actually do that through that command without the use of a VPN in or access to the corporate network, which is great. So, but if you do need to launch, the KVM, then you'll need to be on the network. But if you're on call and you need to do a quick restart of the server, it's absolutely fantastic. The last example is if you're in an environment which is quite stringent on security, and although they like the idea of Intersight, they don't like the idea of an Intersight being a cloud-based appliance where they don't have control of the system. Well, Intersight can be offered as a virtual appliance, so you get all the good features It's like more or less exactly the same features as what you get on a cloud-based Intersight. However, it's all local, so you can run an Intersight appliance. As long as you've got the Essentials license upwards, you can utilize that. So if you've got some security conscious organizations, the local virtual appliance is a good product to offer rather than the cloud version if they're more security conscious. Intersight comes with four types of editions. I'll call it tiers. So there's four tiers. The more you move up, the more functionality and features you get. So there's the base edition, essentials, advantage, and premier. So Intersight is licensed per server. If you have 40 servers, you need 40 Intersight licenses, and it's based on a subscription-based model. The base one is the only exception. So the base one is absolutely free to use. There's no charge, there's no licensing around it. So it does offer global inventory, health status. It does give you the ability to create tagging against servers and do searches. And also you can deploy Hyperflex via Intersight. So there are some good functionality around that. It's a win-win situation. So if a customer does have UCS servers on their estate and would like to learn more and play around with Intersight, use the base one. It's a win-win. There's no cost involved. If they like it, they want more features, they can move on to the next level of Intersight editions. If they don't like it, they can just simply walk away and remove the servers off Intersight. The Essentials edition is the next one up from the base edition. So you do get all the good features from the base, plus you get some additional features and functionality, such as the ability to create policies per server. So you can create a policy based on some certain BIOS configuration or hard drive configuration and push that out to individual servers. There's also the ability to create a detailed inventory and firmware management. So Intersight will go out and check against the Cisco UCS hardware compatibility list and give recommendations on which servers require the firmware updates. There's also the ability to use a virtual KVM. So rather than the administrator open up a separate tab or browser and punching in the IP address details, you can do this directly through Intersight. The Advantage is the next license up from Essentials. This adds several features. Main feature is the ability to see what's going on inside your storage layer. So if you're a pure storage customer, you can actually see what's going on in terms of your storage utilization, storage capacity within Intersight. There's also ability to do some automation and also to do some operating system installations via Intersight with some select UCS platforms. The Premier is the top license, so it covers all the great features I've mentioned from the base to the Advantage. What this does offer is the ability to do some orchestration. So if you're a partner with a private cloud IS as a service, this is perfect for you. So it allows you to do some orchestration across the whole stack from your virtual machines to your storage layer and to your compute hardware. I'm now going to demonstrate how to add a device into Intersight. So the first thing you need to do is log into your IMC for that device. So for this example, this is a UCS 220, and I've logged into the IMC, also known as the Cisco Integrated Management Controller. So once logged in, it will take you to the default home page. If you select the menu icon to expand, admin section, and then device connector. So we'll just need to check a few things. First is, can the device via the IMC connect out to the internet? You can see a green dotted line here to the internet, which is great. However, it's amber on the Intersight purely because we've not registered it. If you do need to go through a proxy server, you can configure the proxy server details in the proxy configuration under device connector. Okay, so we need two pieces of information, device ID and claim code, which need to be punched into Intersight. So we're just going to log on to Intersight. So the URL is intersight.com. Enter your Cisco ID, followed by the password. Once logged into the Intersight dashboard, if we go to the admin section and then devices on the left hand side, you see I've already have two UCS 220s already registered, so we're going to register a third one. So if you hit claim a new device button on the top right, and this is where you enter the two pieces of information obtained from the IMC. So it's the device ID and the claim code. As you can see, the process is quite straightforward. Once entered, hit the claim button on the right hand side. And there you go. You got a green notification on the top right to say it's successful. And now you can see the third device, which is now registered into Intersight. If I go into the IMC and hit the refresh, you'll now see I have a green dotted line from the device connector to the internet and then to Intersight. So it's all successful, and you can see it's connected to the relevant Intersight account. So that's how it is. That's how you add a device into Cisco Intersight, and now you can start utilizing all the good features. Okay, so that's a wrap. Nice, short and sweet. If you do like further information around Cisco Intersight, Hyperflex or UCS servers, please feel free to contact me through the Ingram Micro channels. Thank you for tuning in.